guys, this is a second video on solving quadratics by using the quadratic formula. So again, this is the second video, so if you have not seen the first, I strongly recommend it. So in this example, I'm going to make things a little bit more complicated with simplifying the quadratic formula. So again, we just start with what is the quadratic formula. So it's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, from the first video, we had talked about how a is the number in front of the x squared, b is the number in front of the x, and c is your constant. So to help us get organized in order to tackle this formula, what I like to do is write down off to the side what a, b, and c are. So a in this case would be 2, b is negative 6, c is negative 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and off to the side tackle and figure out the negative b piece, the b squared minus 4ac piece, and the 2a piece. So if I want to know what negative b is, well, I need to start with a negative, and then I need b, which is negative 6. So negative, negative 6, so that's going to have two negatives make a positive 6. So if you have negative 6, then negative b would be positive 6. Next thing I'm going to figure out is b squared minus 4ac. Now when I plug in a, b, and c into that piece, I'm going to use parentheses when I plug in. So I'm going to start with parentheses, negative 6 squared, minus 4 parentheses 2, minus 4 parentheses 2 parentheses negative 1. And that piece, you can't do that in your head. I'm going to let that calculator handle it, and especially for a student, I would let a calculator handle it so it minimizes errors. So I'm going to do parentheses, negative 6, parentheses squared, then a subtraction 4, parentheses 2, parentheses, negative 1, parentheses, all that. So key pieces there, these are negatives on the 6 and 1, but that's a subtraction sign on the 4. When I hit enter, I get 44. And then finally, we need 2a. So 2a would be 2 times 2, which is 4. So now that I have all my pieces, I'm going to plug them into their correct spots in the quadratic formula. So we're going to have x equals, instead of negative b, I'll put 6, because we calculated that, plus or minus the square root b squared minus 40c, we have 44. And then 2a, we have 4. Now, just like the first video, the order in which I want to break this down is the first thing I want to look at is the square root. So I want to try and break down square root of 44. And if you do it in your calculator, square root of 44 is 6.63. So that doesn't work out. So what we need to do is break this down and simplify it. So I look for something that is a perfect square that divides into 44. So perfect squares are like 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, etc. So I want to find the largest number there that goes into 44, and it's going to be 4. And 4 times 11 is 44. The square root of 4 is going to be 2. So 2 square root of 11. So if I simplify the square root of 44, I'm going to have 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 11 all over 4. If I caught you off guard on that, simplifying the square root of 44, I do have videos that talk about simplifying square roots. That's why I did that so quickly. The second thing I like to do is split things up. So I look at the left side here, 6 and 4, and divide those two. And then the right side is also divided by 4. So the left side of this plus or minus is divided by 4, and the right side is divided by 4. So 6 over 4 plus or minus 2 squared of 11 over 4. And the final thing I want to do is, if I can, I'm going to add and subtract. If not, I'm just going to simplify the fractions. So if I could, I would do 6 divided by 4 plus or minus this piece over here. But since this has a square root, you can't just add or subtract them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simplify the fractions. So 6 over 4 is going to become 3 over 2. Now let's say you didn't know how to do that. type in your calculator 6 divided by 4, you see it's 1.5, and if you want the most reduced fraction of 6 over 4, do math, fraction, you get 3 over 2. Do the same thing over here, but kind of ignore the square root for now, so I'm just looking at the 2 over 4, which reduces to 1/2, and then bring back that square root of 11. Now this is completely simplified. Again, I cannot add and subtract because this is a rational number, a number without a square root. This number has a square root. We can't add and subtract these. So this would be my answer. So again, the order that I kind of went down on breaking that down is I focus on the square root first, then divide up the two fractions there, and then if I can, add and subtract. If not, I'm just going to simplify the fractions. And that was solving quadratics by the quadratic formula, video number 2.